Nick Lowry for Live Fit Magazine. Interested, though, the perspective of one of America's great sports, hockey in the National Hockey League. We've got two of the leading lights in many ways. Mike Neely, the president of the Phoenix Coyotes, and Tyson Nash, 9 years in the Hockey League, and also an announcer right now for the Coyotes. Let's start first with you, Mike. Just the business of hockey. A lot of the same attractions that the NFL has. A violent sport, a fast sport, an athletic sport. Tell me, what is it about hockey that inspired you to get involved in the first place?
Well, I tell you, if you're going to be working in a business, it's a good business to be working in sports, professional sports, and hockey. Maybe a little biased, but I think one of the best, if not the best.
With this season and the challenges of the Coyotes staying in the community, tell us about your role as the president and what have been some of the better accomplishments for the Coyotes this year that bode well for the future.
Yeah, it's not a secret, some of the struggles and the challenges that we've been facing over the last few years, going through a bankruptcy, the league taking over the team, and then myself taking over the presidency a couple of years ago. We were faced with a lot of challenges, and the attendance was down. We suffered a lot of losses with the season ticket holders and stuff, but the team came back strong. We got a new coach and a competitive team. We did a lot of things on the business side, and we've seen our tickets really been going up, the support from the sponsorships, and the sales are going the right direction, but we still have that big challenge of getting a permanent owner to keep us in Phoenix.
You know, Wayne Gretzky, obviously an icon in the NHL, must have been tough to make a change when it seemed to be the perfect fit with Wayne Gretzky. What was the biggest change in the past year after losing Wayne and making that change?
Well, it was a few years ago that actually we made that change, and it was Gretzky. I think he decided he didn't want to be a coach anymore after the bankruptcy, and there's a lot of things that happened. Of course, it was a complicated situation, but we had a situation where he had a solid coach that was available, and Dave Tippett, and he came in and he's turned the program around, and they've been very competitive.
What does he do? What's the essence of Dave Tippett and how he gets the team ready to play?
You know, I want to pass that over to my friend here because I think he's a little closer and playing a game himself. I bet he has a better perspective. I mean, I can tell you that that Tippett is a consummate professional. He works round the clock, and I know that it helps drive the success. But talk to a guy that actually played on the ice, and you might get a different perspective.
And maybe a different perspective now, Tyson Nash, now that you're announcing, right?
Absolutely. Love my job. It's the next best thing, I guess, besides playing. I'm still part of the team, flying with them, staying in the nice hotels. I don't get beat up anymore, so it's obviously, I'm very honored and privileged to be given this job, and I'm very appreciative of it.
We did a Super Bowl show last week talking about how the good teams take on the personality of a great coach. As you look at your career now and with the new coaching style with the Coyotes, what are some of the things that you value and appreciate now about a great coach?
Well, when I grew up playing, obviously there's a lot of coaches that helped me along the way. And, when I made it to the NHL, Joel Quenneville, who's with the Chicago Blackhawks, was one of my favorite coaches. He taught me a lot about playing. I think Dave Tippett here in Phoenix is very similar. They're actually good friends. They played together in Hartford. They demand a lot out of you, and I think you look at the team that the Coyotes have, I think they're very similar to the way that Dave Tippett coaches. They're hardworking, they throw the hard hat on, they go to work, they punch the clock every day. It's not fancy, but you get your money's worth at the end of the day, and obviously the results of the last few years have spoke for themselves.
So there's a rumor in hockey that the fans get most excited not by a goal, but first by the fight, second by the hits, and third by the goal. Is that true?
You know what? I think so. I mean, if you look at the fights, or you look around the stands when a fight goes on, you look at UFC. I mean, they're on their feet, they're loving it, they get excited, and then the big hits. I mean, I don't think you get a bigger cheer on a night when a guy lays somebody out in the corner. It's a big part of the game. It's a physical, fast-paced game. I think that's why people love it, that much more in person. But I tend to agree. Goals would probably come last.
Do coaches actually coach their players on the fight part of hockey?
Not really.
Be honest.
Well, I think that it's a job. Believe it or not, it's somebody's job. That's what they're trained to do. That's what they're paid to do. They go out there, they stick up for their teammates, and if somebody takes liberties on somebody, a skilled player in particular. That's his job, to go out there and set the tone. It plays a real important role in the game of hockey. The intimidation factor is there, and it's tough. It's a tough job to do. It's something that I never wanted to do, and I admire anyone who can do it.
Tyson Nash, go ahead, Mike.
I was just saying, I'd like to add that, look at this face here. Luckily, he did not have to do too much of the fighting. But
face for
face
radio.
like that.
So I'm going to ask both of you before we let you go, what does hockey need to take itself up to one more higher level of excitement to generate that magnetism with the American public?
Boy, I think when you just get more people exposed to it. I mean, it's tough. From the groundswell. Of course, the more further north you are, the water freezes and a little more access to some ice maybe. But I firmly believe that you get people exposed to it, they fall in love with this game. So that's really the name of it, is growing that youth hockey and the baseline of people getting excited about the game, and it'll grow.
Tyson, look into that camera and tell us what people should look for to sell them on hockey. What's the most important thing that they should think about and to give hockey a chance?
Well, I think, like Mike said, I think the biggest thing for me and how I fell in love with it was watching it. So I think for all the fans in Phoenix, I think they need to get their butts in the seats, support the team, and you will fall in love with it. I guarantee you'll fall in love with the players, the personalities, and obviously you'll fall in love with the game. It's not a game that is like football. I think football is a sport that is maybe a little bit better to watch on TV than it is live sometimes, where hockey is more, it's all about being there, the atmosphere. I think that's what will sell this game.
Okay, last question, the role of the player in the community. A lot of people sometimes are a little bit taken back by the NFL, frankly, Major League Baseball, NBA players that are a little bit too distant from the fans. That doesn't seem to be quite the same case in hockey.
Oh, I think you're right. And as far as the approachability and what they're willing to do, the hockey guys are great guys. And that's maybe a general statement, but over and over it's been proven. These guys, are tirelessly. They work hard. They're playing. They're traveling, but they take out time all the time. We had an event just last night that they were out. They played waiters for a night, and they catered to some fans in a restaurant, and they're waiters, and they do that stuff. But they're also, a lot of times they're going to the hospitals and they're visiting children and stuff, and that's not always in the news and things. And they do it because it's the right thing to do. They want to do that. So these are great guys.
Tyson, do you see that too, the growing distance in the other sports, and any comment on that?
Well, I can't speak for the other sports and how fans deal with that, and if they're baseball, football, whatever. I think you obviously know that better than I would. But I think for the most part, hockey players, we grow up and we're raised a certain way, and whether you make it or you don't, whether you're given all this money or you're not, you stick to your roots, and I think that gets you a long way. And the fans are what make things click, and without them, we're not doing what we love to do, and I think that's the biggest thing.
Whether it's the Phoenix Coyotes or any team in the National Hockey League, give it a chance. Hockey is an exciting game and well worth the time. Thank you, Mike Neely, President, and Tyson Nash, the ebullient, the truculent one. Tyson Nash. Thanks, guys.
Nick, you bet.
Thanks, bud.
My pleasure.